Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 28th. The time is 6:30 p.m., and I am calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order. Now, we will now say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Posey, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Trustee Kuzmano?
Here.
Trustee Lucido?
Here.
Trustee Oliver?
Here.
Trustee Nevers?
Present.
Treasurer Drollet?
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Viviano?
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Moving on, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Support.
Any discussion on the agenda? Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Treasurer Gillette to approve the agenda. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
You? Is there any discussion on the bill run?
Mr. Chairman, there was a question that came up. I got an answer to it, and I wanted to confirm that with Mr. DeCaro in regards to the "'Twas the Night" holiday trip for $31,4760. It's my understanding that that is a self-sustaining event, and that the participants or the guests will be paying for the full amount of that expenditure.
That's correct. So we front the money, obviously, and then when they buy the tickets, they pay it off. You approved that as a board when you approved the programs for the brochure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Kuzmano. If there's no more discussion on the bill run, I have a motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the bills. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to approval of the previous meeting's minutes from September 14th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion on the previous meeting's minutes? Hearing none, motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Nevers, to approve the meeting's minutes from September 14th. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to public comment. This is the first of our two public comments. This is for agenda items only. Anyone present wishing to speak may make their way to the microphone. Anyone who's participating remotely may digitally raise your hand. I don't see anybody present. Ed, is there anybody remote?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
Mr. Chair, I move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
Any discussion on any of the consent items?
Mr. Chairman, I just had a question. Given the fact that agenda item number 6 is the same vendor as for the senior center item, which is item 17, the question I had was, is the completion of the build-out for the basement being done timely and to the satisfaction of the township?
Yes, the township, the basement project has gone along perfectly. In fact, we've come in, I haven't the totals yet, but I think we're gonna be under budget, so.
Oh, great.
Mr. Chair, if I may note, it's one of the few projects that's moved on timely. It's been challenging to get anything done timely, and when it comes to construction around anywhere. So it's moved along very surprisingly well.
Concludes my comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and thank you, Treasurer Drollet.
Thank you, Trustee Kuzmano. If there's no more discussion on the consent agenda, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the consent items. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to item 7. We're going to have an update from our Parks Director, Mr. DeCaro, on the park improvements that have been taking place since July 1st. And just as a reminder to the public, this board committed $1 million to park improvements. And Mr. DeCaro, why don't you let us know how that's going?
Thank you, board members. As you just stated, earlier this year, Township Board allocated $1 million for park improvements for our existing parks, Waldenburg Park and Macomb Corners Park. Our team met numerous times with the full-time elected officials, get a game plan as to exactly what projects we wanted to take on. Tonight, I'd like to give you a brief overview of what's been accomplished so far and what's yet to come. Most of the improvements so far have been at Waldenburg Park. Waldenburg Park was built in 2001, and other than moving the playscape from the floodplain to higher ground and the bridge replacement a couple of years back, there's been really no major improvements done there. First project we took on there was a swing set. We put in a new swing set. We had a swing set at Macomb Corners Park, which obviously has been very popular. The clerk and I have had many conversations as to what would be a good amenity at Waldenburg Park. So the first thing we put in was a swing set. Cost us $8,198.24, and $5,625 of that is the actual swing set. As you can see, everybody's having fun on the swing set.
Penny per swing.
Yes, that's right. Our next project we took on is we redid the restroom area. We put in new partitions, we replaced the doors, we replaced the mirrors, and we had some masonry work to do on the outside above the doors. It was $13,751.18, and as you can see, the treasurer's thrilled with the new restroom area. Next project we took on was, we had some lighting repairs that we had to do. So we put in LED lights on the flagpole, we put them in on the sign, entrance sign, on the pavilion and on the building, which you see right there, and we had some work done on the electrical panel. That was $18,054.57, and it obviously adds a very nice atmosphere in the evening, the way it is. We put in new picnic tables under the pavilion. It was $9,744.43, and that got us 6 regular picnic tables, 8-foot picnic tables, and 2 8-foot handicap accessible picnic tables. So they're there right now. Moving on to one of our bigger projects. Again, the park opened in 2001, and the basketball court has obviously had some wear and tear and seen better days. So we came to the board and we spent $32,242.87, and we got with Sport Court, and they installed a new basketball court for us. Not everyone's gonna make it all the time, but we do what we can do. It has our logo in the middle, and it's obviously, it's, taken off. People are there all the time playing on it, and it's been a great addition to the park. The other thing that we did, another big project, like I said, in 2014, we moved the playscape, and when we moved the playscape, we were left with something that everyone called for years the circle. So the circle is just what it is, okay? So we've tried a number of things there, and when we discussed this year, we decided to liven it up there. We put concrete picnic tables, some colorful umbrellas, a nice flower pot, and as you'll see with the tables and the colors, the orange and the yellow and the blue, it really sticks out and it really looks nice there. And that project cost $36,332.65. We added some benches throughout the park. We put 2 benches at the new basketball courts. We put a bench by the swing set, and we added 2 benches by the playscape. That cost us $12,513. If you notice at the park, when you go there, we have decorative fencing around the park, blue decorative fencing. That's all needed to be powder coated. So we brought in a company to do that. So far, they've done in front of the circle and in front of the pavilion. We've spent $2,100 on that, but it's gonna cost us another $10,000 to do the rest of the park in front of the playscape and certain areas. So, to date, at Waldenburg Park, we spent $132,936.94. Now, we do have a couple of projects still coming there. We have a drinking fountain that's coming there very soon that's been ordered. As I said earlier, we have to powder coat the rest of the front of the park. And then we also have to powder coat for $50,000 the back bridges in the back of Waldenburg Park. So that's the improvements that we're at Waldenburg. Let's move on to Macomb Corners Park. Macomb Corners Park, right now, to date, the only major work we've done is we spent $15,525. We had to replace some cement work behind Diamond 6, and we asphalt all the cracks on the walking path. So that has been done this year already. We have a project starting within the next 2 weeks. We're going to repurpose the inline skating rink, and we are going to now make it 2 pickleball courts and 2 basketball courts. We are currently in the process of doing that, and we hope that everything will be in there in the next couple weeks. That total project will be $59,067.46. So at Macomb Corners Park, we've spent $74,792.46. So combining those, we've spent $207,729.40. Now, we do have a lot of things coming to Macomb Corners Park. The board has already approved the addition of scoreboards. We're going to have 6 scoreboards at all the ball diamonds. We have purchased the scoreboards. We're going to bid actually tomorrow for the electrical work. We were estimating that the cost will be $141,379 total for the whole project. We have the playscape that we would like to replace at Macomb Corners Park on Phase 1. That's the original playscape from 2004. We've looked at some renderings. We're looking at probably the cost of about $350,000 to put a brand-new playscape where the existing one is. We'd like to put a new playscape, a smaller playscape, for about $150,000 on the east side of the park by the ball diamonds in Phase 2, because there's no playscape on that side. We found out in the last few weeks that we need some cement work done also on Phase 1 by the picnic areas. We need to replace some of the cement there. We think that will be approximately $30,000. And then nothing to do with this project, but the township did get a grant through the county from DTE, and we are going to get 80 trees. 60 of them will line the driveway at Macomb Corners Park, and then the other 20 will be throughout the park and a couple other areas in the township. So with the projects together, we've spent $207,729. We expect to spend $733,379. So right now, if everything came in as we expect, the total project will cost $941,108. So we would be under the $1 million. So in conclusion, that's a summation of where we are, where we're headed for this project. We'd like to thank the board for all the support given financially and otherwise. We really appreciate them putting such high value on leisure services that we provide to the community. I'd like to thank my staff for all the hard work they've done to accomplish these goals. I want to give a special thank you to Ken Delpra and Gina Mazinski for everything they've done for these projects. Ken has overseen all the work done, dealt with all the contractors, and kept everything on track. Gina's worked tirelessly behind the scenes, getting pricing, researching all the products to make sure we're getting our most bang for our buck. Both of them have been taking on these projects in addition to doing their normal work responsibilities, with Gina running the rec center, Ken overseeing the park project, park operations. We're fortunate to have both of them as employees here. They always have the best interests of the Parks and Recreation Department, Macomb Township, in mind. Consider myself very blessed to have them working in my department. I'd like to thank Anne Marie, who put the slideshow together for us from the Communications Department. And that's our review. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. DeCaro. Any questions from the board?
I get one. So, this powder coating, that's done on site?
So some of it is, so there was a couple of days that we literally shut down the pavilion area and he came and did that. We think for the bridges, he's going to secure the area, take it to his shop and do it there.
You mean the individual parts that he
Correct.
wants it
Yep.
powder coated?
He would take a section at a time, put in replacement,
Yeah.
wood section, and then take it back.
Interesting. Yeah. Come a long way. And then, on the playscapes, what do you figure life expectancy with the heavy use we get over there?
Well, again, that's from 2004. You'll be lucky to get 20 years.
Yeah.
It would be good. There's a lot of things that have worn out on the current one, but there's things on it right now that, we keep, obviously, that we can still use.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we get 20 years, that's a good
Good.
investment.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Quick question, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
This, Sal, you mentioned it's, the total spent so far or expected to spend is $733,000. Does that include the secondary little playscape on the
Does.
east side? Okay.
Yes. So everything that I mentioned would be in the coming soon area.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I don't know if residents have had a chance to stop by and see the transformation at Waldenburg Park in particular, where the majority of the work has been done, but I think it's really transformed the look of that park. When I guess I didn't notice until we went through it and kind of with a fresh eyes, in the spring, and you go look at the bathroom area and the door has been patched up multiple times. There's patches, welded on the door, and the bathroom mirrors were cracked and disheveled, and everything looked, a little bit like it needed a sprucing up. And the transformation of the lighting, the new doors, the new panels, everything has made it look so much cleaner. And frankly, it feels safer because everything looks fresh and new. Not that it was unsafe before, but it has a greater appeal in general. Just attention to those little details like lighting, and like when you see the picnic tables before and all the powder coating is flaking off and they're faded and there's cracks. Those new tables, it just makes everything feel so much more welcoming. And so, I commend you, your staff, Ken, and Gina, everybody involved who've really paid attention to those details. I know it sounds expensive when we talk replacing picnic tables. We think, well, I can go to Home Depot and buy a picnic table for $220. Well, it's wood, and these are welded steel, powder coated industrial tables. They're a lot more. So again, I'm enthusiastic that the residents can experience that and feel the difference in that park and what we're doing now at Corners. So
Great.
fantastic work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bart.
Anyone else have any comments?
Mr. Chairman, no, mine's just a comment, actually. I just wanted to say for anybody who hasn't been by there, I live near the park and I walk near it all the time, and just the buzz at the park has been extraordinary. There's been a ton of people there. When I walk through the park, people are talking about all these improvements. The basketball court has been packed, the swing sets have been filled. So it's really the vision that we've had as a board, and I just want to thank your staff for what a great job they have done carrying out the vision and allowing for these amazing amenities to the community.
Thanks. I'll pass it along. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. I echo other comments there. If I know the three full-times have been there, but if my trustees haven't been there yet, you should take a drive by. When the park is, the rails are bright blue again, and there's no visible rust, and all the trees are trimmed, and the dead trees have been removed, and they're working on new plantings. It is a lot more inviting. It's, we've been trying to rediscover the place and the leisure space and the recreational areas that we dedicated. So not only is it important for the life and the enjoyment of our residents, but these are the types of things we need to continue to do just to protect the investment that the township is already making into these properties. So we don't want to let things, become eyesores, but we also don't want to let them deteriorate. So it looks great. I'm really excited about what we're going to do at Corners. I think the roller rink transformation is going to be really exciting when it's done. And, you know, Gina's done a great job, Sal has done a great job, but I guess I want to give a special nod to Ken Dalper, who's just gone sort of above and beyond and really taken really ownership of some of these improvements. And it's really refreshing to see somebody who's so well invested, not just into their job, but into the community. So congrats to Ken, and thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could just share one brief story. I know in the spring that clerk and I went with, I believe it was Sal or maybe Ken, to Waldenburg Park, and while we were there looking at what improvements might be necessary, there was a grandmother there with her son, or grandson rather, who came up to ask us if there was any swing sets at the park, because she had brought her grandson to take him to the swing set. And we'd explained no, but, you know, we're coming soon. And, you know, the little kid was a little disappointed that he didn't have a place to swing. And so it was a little bit surprising to me that, you know, we have a park without a swing set for kids. You know, you'd think that'd be one of the fundamentals. And so that has, we won't have to disappoint so many grandmothers and their grandkids when they come to the park to swing now. They've got a beautiful looking swing set that our staff has done a fantastic job putting together.
Thank you, Treasurer Gillette. And before we leave the subject of parks, I do want to add one other thing. The much ballyhooed and long-awaited Pitchford Park is actually finally out for bid as we speak. So, you know, thank you to Jim and Crystal and Josh for helping us navigate getting all the permits and the site plans, and everything that has delayed us is now behind us to this point. So I'm pretty excited. We should be awarding that contract. Jim, what's our target date?
First meeting in November.
First meeting in November. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with the residents when that comes, and that project is now officially underway now that it's out for bid. So pretty excited.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just make one comment. I'm supportive of the parks and the improvements and maintenance of the parks, because I believe it's fundamental that a community is judged by its public spaces. And we should be proud of our public spaces for the enjoyment of the children and the grandmothers with their recreation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Trustee
Mr. Chairman,
Kuzma.
if I may, Sal, the jewel has always been the rec center, but clearly, the renovations in these parks, we're gonna be the envy of all of the townships around here. We look prosperous and we look innovative, and so thank you for the work you've done, the crew and the board as well.
Thank you, Trustee Nevers.
Great.
All right, now that we're done patting each other on the back, we will move on to item 8. We got some unfinished business. Get my glasses again. So from the July 27th meeting, we had removed a request to repair the damage on the bridge that goes over North Branch of the Clinton River, north side of 21 Mile Road. Today there is a request to hire LJ Construction to perform the repairs to the damage in the amount of $8,945. So can I get a motion?
So moved. Support.
Mr. Johnson?
You're pretty short and sweet there. It's exactly right. We got 2 bids, and LJ Construction was the lowest, so we are looking to request to have them perform the work, and it should be done. Once we award it, it should be a few weeks, and we'll have it repaired.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions?
Just
Yes.
one. I read in the packet, but just so the residents know that we are going to be seeking reimbursement or, can't think of the word
Insurance
right
claim.
now. Yeah, I'm,
Insurance guy can't remember an insurance?
subrogation. I couldn't think of the word. Subrogation from his insurance, correct?
Yes, this will be a zero cost for the township.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lucido. Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Lucido, to award LJ Construction the contract to repair the damage on 21 Mile Road, or near 21 Mile Road, in the amount of $8,945. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. The next item of unfinished business is from the September 14th meeting. We have the treasurer's quarterly report. Treasurer Gillette.
Motion to receive and file, and then if it's seconded, I'll speak to it.
Second.
Thank you. If I move,
Guzman.
Floor is yours.
thank you. The report is before you. I will make, you're welcome to ask questions. Just make a note that the reports that we issue are typically rather mundane in the sense that they don't vary a lot. We are not in the speculative market. The downside of that was when the market booms, we don't rake in a pile of money from the stock market, and when the market crashes, we don't lose money in the stock market. Our priority, and we're heavily regulated by state law, is security of the funds, number one, first and foremost. Second is liquidity. So we're not holding money for investment purposes primarily. We're holding money for paying bills and any expenses that may come up. So our booms and busts are not volatile, and that is essentially the focus of every Treasury Department is don't lose money and make sure it's available and make sure it's safe. So any questions about the report itself, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Treasurer Gillette. Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion to receive and file by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Guzmano. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 10, we have a request to approve maintenance of the HVAC units. These are for the pool, for the Macomb Township Rec Center, and this would be for Synergy Engineering Services in the amount of $21,445. Is there a motion?
Trustee Kuzma makes the motion.
Support.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, good evening. So there are 8 different HVAC units on top of the rec center. All of these parts that are getting replaced are original parts from when they were installed. So we're just looking to get the condenser fan motors and the exhaust fans replaced on these 2 units.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And just for, all of these units are pretty much at end of life. We're aware of that, right? Because it's something we've talked about internally. So it's expected that we're going to be making some significant repairs and replacements over the next few years. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion by Trustee Kuzmano, supported by Trustee Oliver, to approve the maintenance of the HVAC units to Synergy Energy Services in the amount of $21,445. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 11 is a request to approve the purchase of water meters from Ferguson Water Works in the amount of $43,308. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Mr. Johnson.
Yep, so lead times on meters are getting more and more time sensitive, a lot longer shifts, about 4 months out. So we're utilizing the data from installations from 2020, 2021 to get estimates on how many meters we install on a monthly basis. And we're going to be probably ordering quarterly in larger chunks to make sure we're on track for the meters for what they're to meet the lead times for what's happening. But Ferguson is every few months is pushing it a few more weeks. So right now we're at about a 3 to 4 month lead time. So that's why the order is so large this time.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Is there any questions or discussion?
Let's got one quick question. Every time we order, are they substantially going up in price?
I would say they're going up between 5 and 10% each time.
Yeah.
And the challenging part is they can't always give us an exact number because we have to order them and we need them. So when we ask the price, they're like, we don't know yet until they get the price increase. So by the time we get that increase, we've already got the meters in stock. So, but it's been about 5-10% each time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Treasurer Gillette, to approve the purchase of water meters from Ferguson Water Works in the amount of $43,308. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Moving on to item 12. There's a request to close Township Hall offices during the Christmas and New Year's holiday. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Mr. Tabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. I'm requesting to close the township offices this year, Tuesday, December 27th, Wednesday, December 28th, and December 29th. Based on previous research by the township, including review of cost savings and assured availability to the public, the township has closed township offices between Christmas and New Year's Day. The treasurer's office has been open one day during this period to collect taxes, and appropriate staffing is always arranged for the fire department. This closure with exceptions has been negotiated with all unions. Notice of the closure by this action complies with all the CBAs. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Lucido, to close Township Hall offices during the Christmas and New Year's holiday. Motion. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 13 is a request to hire a full-time firefighter. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Tabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. I'm requesting authorization to extend an offer of full-time employment to Joe Rapshis for our fire opening. This position, again, was posted in compliance with the IAFF CBA agreement. HR received 2 internal applicants, and we are recommending the hire of Joe Rapshis to this position of firefighter. Joe has been paid on call with us since June 8th, 2021. If approved, his start date will be actually tomorrow, Thursday. This is in the budget, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion from the board?
Just real quick, we're replacing a vacancy in the department, is that?
Yeah, this stemmed from Vince Pazzulli getting promoted to fire inspector.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to hire Joseph Repchus as a full-time firefighter. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And just to add real quick, I went to an HR conference last week, and there's so many people out there looking for firefighters, and we are actually full. So that's pretty impressive.
Good. Moving on to item 14, we have a request to hire a part-time elections coordinator. Is there a motion?
So move.
Support.
Mr. Tabaka.
Mr. Supervisor and board members, I'm requesting to fill our part-time elections coordinator position. The position was posted internally. Clerk Posey and myself are recommending Ed Carey Sr. for the position. Ed, as you probably know, has worked with the township in the past for many years. Again, thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion?
Is this individual qualified for this position?
It was close. Very close. A lot of Careys in the township now.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Is Mr. Carey a full-time employee still with the township? Or
No, he is not. No,
Okay.
he's retired. I don't know the exact date, but,
Some years ago.
yep.
Okay. I found him always to be very knowledgeable and experienced. I think he's a great compliment to the team.
Yeah, he will definitely benefit the clerk's office.
For most of them.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trustee Kuzma. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the hiring of a part-time elections coordinator, Ed Carey Sr. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 15 is a request to approve 2 occupational health care providers for the township. Is there a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Mr. Tabaka.
Mr. Supervisor and board members, HR is requesting approval to add an additional occupational health provider. Currently, a session located at 23 Mile Road in Romeo Plank has been the township's only provider for the past 7 years. Currently, we feel the need to expand by adding another provider that offers greater access to healthcare through increased service locations as well as hours of operation. Our current provider is open until 4 p.m. The one I'm recommending to add is Beaumont, and they're open until 10 p.m. Services are required for such things as pre-employment, physical exams, workplace injuries, return to work evals. This was a competitive bid, and HR is recommending is to award Beaumont and Accession both as options for occupational services. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. DeBacca. Any questions or discussion? So there's a motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve Well Street Beaumont and Ascension Michigan Occupational Health Providers as the two occupational health providers for the township.
2 additional health providers.
The two.
We already have one, we're adding
have
another
one.
one.
Right, so we're adding 2 additional.
We're adding 1 additional, but there are 2 in total now.
Thank you. Appreciate the clarification.
You're welcome. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Moving on to item 16 is a request to award the 2-year renewal to Carlisle Wortman Associates for planning and zoning consulting services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. We are asking to have the Carlisle Wortman Associates contract renewed for 2 years. They have been our planning consultant for the past 3 years. Their entire team, especially Dave Skirto, is invaluable to us. They know all of our ordinances. They've done our master plan update with us as part of our team, and they're working on the ordinance update. And they're very integral to our day-to-day operations here. So we are seeking to extend their contract for 2 more years.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair, the option for the extension was built into the contract previously signed, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so we're executing that option.
Correct.
And so the costs associated with that option were determined at the time the original contract was created.
No, they have actually come down in price on their monthly retainer, and they are holding for the first year their hourly rates for additional services for the first year of the 2-year renewal, and they have a slight increase for the 2024 year.
Okay. The reason I ask is that it seems to me by extending the contract for rates that have been sort of negotiated in a prior time, I think in this time of difficulty finding personnel and exceptional inflation, when we have an opportunity to lock down, to extend a contract that provides us with, reasonable rates without having to pay the market rates that have been ballooning over the last few years, I think it's something we should be doing.
Thank you, Treasurer Gillette. Is there any other discussion or questions? Okay, motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Treasurer Gillette, to approve the 2-year renewal to Carlisle Wortman for planning and zoning consulting services. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 17, there is a request to award the Cbcdbg Senior Center Patio and Fence Project to Quadrate Construction in the amount of $134,035. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Mr. Box?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. So this was competitively bid. There were 2 bids. Quadrate Construction was lower by almost $100,000. And they've done some work in the township previously, including the basement here, that we've been pleased with. This block grant funding will be reimbursed to the township through the county's block grant program. So at this time, we're asking that Quadrate Construction be awarded the project.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any question or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Trustee Nevers, supported by Treasurer Gillette, to award Quadrate Construction the Senior Center Patio and Fence project in the amount of $134,035. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 18. There's a request to adopt the hard cap cost share model resolution as set forth in the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act as presented in the packet.
So move.
Trustee Kuzma supports the motion by Treasurer Drollet.
So this item comes up annually, as provided for in the Michigan Act. The municipalities can choose to adopt one of two cost provisions. One would be 80-20, which would be splitting 80% of, or having the employees pay 80% of the healthcare cost, township would pay 20. Or the other option is the hard cap, which is a set limit. We are fortunate to work with our healthcare agency and have a plan in place that allows us to continue offer top-tier benefits, yet remain under the hard cap. So with that, I will answer any questions that you may have. Okay, hearing none. Clerk Posey, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Drollet?
Yes.
Trustee Kuzma?
Yes.
Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Viviano?
Yes. That resolution is adopted. And with that, that takes us to public comment. This will be for non-agenda items. If you are participating remotely, please digitally raise your hand if we're present. I don't see anybody present. Is there anybody remotely?
No, sir.
Okay, nobody wishes to make comment. That brings us to board comments. Trustee Lucido.
Just to say congratulations to the new firefighter and to the new elections coordinator, part-time elections coordinator. And also thank you to Parks and Rec for the work that they've done. I know Trustee Kuzmano mentioned this, but I think the residents like to see something tangible from their tax dollars. They don't see a lot of the things we approve and pay for behind the scenes. But when they can actually physically touch and see the things that we do for the park, I think it really shows that their tax dollars are being spent wisely, and you guys did a great job with that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lucido. Trustee Nevers.
Just to add to my former comments, this township is going to look outstanding when all of this is finished, and people are going to say, this is, very complimentary. And as I said before, other townships are going to be jealous.
Thank you, Trustee Nevers. Trustee Oliver.
Basically the same thing. I want to welcome the two new people, the elections coordinator and the firefighter, and again, Sal. It's really nice to drive down 21 Mile Road and maybe be held up by traffic because people are pulling into the park. It's really nice to see that. And on a Sunday, it's jammed. I don't know if anyone went there on Sunday, but it's literally packed with people. So thank you, and thank all your staff for working so hard on that. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Oliver. Trustee Kuzmano.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to echo all of the comments made by my other board members. I also want to say that I think it's an important part of the legacy of this board to leave the township better in its management and also in the actual physical environment than when we found it. And I appreciate all the board's members and the employees of the township working in the same direction. And I think it's a good sign and an omen for future boards that this progress will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kuzmano. Treasurer Gillette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll echo the comments of my colleagues and look forward to meeting this new part-time elections coordinator. But also, just to, build on some of the comments that others have said, just like we have to reinvest in upkeep of our homes or, they start to decline, whether it's new furnace or new roof or whatever it might be. If we don't invest in the properties that we have to maintain them and keep them up, it's easy to not notice sometimes some of the things that that we just become accustomed to seeing. But looking at it with fresh eyes, I think has, provided us with the incentive to reinvest in our parks. I think it's a very valuable thing that we're doing. So, no more comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Gillette. Clerk Posey.
Just wanted to say congratulations to Joseph and the fire department, and how grateful and thankful I am that Ed Carey Sr. has decided to rejoin my team in the clerk's office. Administering elections these days has become extremely stressful, and the pressure and all the controversy that comes with it. And for those of you that don't know, with all the talent, experience, and knowledge that I have on that team, we are the envy in Macomb County because of all the actual clerk experience we have managed to retain in Macomb Township. So I'm very thankful for the team that we have. I'm thankful that Ed has come back to join us and carry out the tradition of administering these elections. For our voters, if you've completed your application to vote by mail for the November 8th state general election, the ballots will be delivered to the post office tomorrow. If you do not receive your ballot by October 7th, please contact the office and we will research as to where the ballot is, and we will address that issue for you. You can visit our website at mtvoter.org to verify where all of our ballot drop locations are. They are secure and under surveillance. You can also find a plethora of information for this election. You can view what the ballot has, what you're voting for, where your precinct location is. If you have not filled out an application and want to vote by mail, you can go to our website and request through the website for that as well. And also, just remember to, if you plan to vote in person on election day, to please verify your polling location and precinct number before you go. They did change, all of our locations have changed due to redistricting. So please go to our website and confirm that information before you go to the polling locations on November 8th. That's all.
Thank you, Clerk Posey. Congratulations to all of our new employees. Be finally nice to have a reliable Ed Carey on the staff. Just a reminder to the residents that October 8th is an electronic waste and shred day. That takes place behind Town Hall between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Support.
Thank you. All in favor?
Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido to adjourn the meeting. Members, please vote. That motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned at 7:18 p.m.
Not